Welcome, and thank you for joining us for the 2021 Lance and Elena Calvert Awards for Undergraduate Research. My name is Maggie Farrell. I am the Dean of Libraries at UNLV. We are so pleased to be able to present the Calvert Awards and honor the work of undergraduate students at UNLV. We are honoring outstanding students who have demonstrated exceptional use of the library's resources and critical application of information in their research papers and class projects. Thank you all for joining us for our live stream this afternoon. These awards are made possible through the generosity of Lance and Elena Calvert. Lance and Elena recognize the important impact of undergraduate research and the valuable role that libraries play in supporting all forms of scholarship and research. Elena and Lance established an endowment to fund these awards. The Calvert Awards continue to be a highlight for the libraries as we showcase the outstanding student research happening at UNLV. In addition to the established endowment that these funds award, this year, Lance and Elena have generously offered to provide additional funding to increase the award amounts. This year, in recognition of the difficult year that our students have endured, the award amounts will increase from $1,000 to $1,500 for each student. This additional award funding is made in recognition of these resilient students who completed their research projects in the middle of the pandemic. Thank you, Elena and Lance. Now, for the announcement of the Lance and Elena Calvert Awards for Undergraduate Research, I will turn it over to Associate Professor and Librarian Mark Lenker. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Maggie. Hello, my name is Mark Lenker, and I'm a teaching and learning librarian for UNLV Libraries. This year it was my pleasure to coordinate the judging of this year's projects. Our judging panel consisted of 9 university colleagues with a range of academic and professional specializations. I won't name them now, but I want you to know how much I appreciate their wisdom and hard work. In one of the very busiest times of the academic year, they contributed significant time and careful attention to evaluating our students' very substantial projects. They were great to work with and very enthusiastic about our students' accomplishments as researchers. And after hearing from our award winners today, I think you'll see why they were so impressed with this year's projects. I also want to quickly acknowledge my teammates in this venture. There are a lot of behind the scenes details to manage in a program like the Calvert Awards. And Roseanne Matola and Carrie Ann Cahal did an excellent job in so many ways. It was a great pleasure to work with them on this project. I'll also acknowledge that this year our team feels a little incomplete. For several years, our colleague Kate Wintroll would coordinate the judging and announce the winners. Kate passed away in the fall of last year, but I think it's safe to say that we feel her enthusiasm still for our students' work and for these awards, so I'm really pleased we can continue with them. I'll also echo Maggie's thanks to the Calverts for making these awards possible. It's a tremendous opportunity for the students, but it's also a very important chance for faculty and staff to celebrate the research of our students and the guidance of their faculty mentors. These awards are just a brilliant reminder of what's possible for our students. And that sort of reminder is especially uplifting as we conclude a very challenging academic year. So thank you. Now I'd like to introduce you to our award winners. Isabella Chong is one of the winners of the Advanced Undergraduate Division. Her winning project was her honors college thesis entitled "The Aftermath of Sexual Assault," creating the "I Am More Than My Experience" workbook. Her faculty sponsor, Dr. Lisa Menegatos, points out that this project includes two parts: a review of the academic literature on sexual assault and a workbook aimed at the survivors of sexual assault. And Dr. Menegatos tells us that Isabella excelled in writing for both academic and non-specialist audiences, and that is not easy to do. Our judges also appreciated the work that Isabella put into writing in both academic and therapeutic styles. They especially appreciated Isabella's ability to craft an approachable workbook from a wide variety of sources. Other comments summed up the project as going above and beyond expectations and as one of the most powerful examples of student work I've ever seen. I'd like to invite Isabella up to share some remarks about her project.
Hello, everyone. My name is Isabella Chong, and I'd like to start off by saying thank you to Mr. and Mrs. Calvert for the opportunities that they provide to undergraduate students at UNLV doing research. So my topic is sexual assault, and over the past 2 semesters, I have worked extensively to develop a workbook for victims and survivors of sexual assault. Being that I am a victim and a survivor of sexual assault myself, this project was extremely close to my heart. I feel so blessed and grateful to reflect on this project, and I feel even more excited for the future to come. The workbook consists of 5 chapters. The first chapter details what sexual assault is, and I distinguish here the difference between sexual assault and rape. I also communicate the magnitude of sexual assault and provide a clear definition of consent. The second chapter introduces the immediate and short-term effects of sexual assault with a particular emphasis on tonic immobility, which occurs when someone is so shaken by fear that they become temporarily paralyzed. The third chapter goes through the process of how to report a sexual assault, and the fourth chapter discusses the long-term effects of sexual assault like post-traumatic stress disorder, depression and anxiety, and substance abuse disorders. And then last is the 5th chapter, which provides a variety of resources for not only victims and survivors, but for groups that experience increased victimization rates of sexual assault, as well as for family and friends of survivors. While this project is only an electronic document now, I have plans to publish it in English and Spanish versions and to distribute this to shelters across Southern Nevada. I also feel hopeful to publish this online as a fillable PDF. I became interested in this topic initially when I began to realize the effects that sexual assault and my own trauma has on my life. I knew that I needed to heal from this in some way if I wished to succeed in not only my academic career, but to better my well-being as a whole. I think that's why it's so surprising for me to earn this award, because this project has just meant so much for me and it has helped me grow as much as it has been intended to help the community. There are so many people that I would like to acknowledge. First and foremost, I would like to thank Mr. and Mrs. Calvert again for the opportunity and for your support. I'd also like to thank my parents, my brother Gavin, and my sister Aurora for believing in me and having my back throughout everything. Next, I'd like to recognize my honors faculty mentor, Dr. Menegatos. Thank you for your guidance, your attention to detail, your persistence, and your everlasting patience. I'd also like to thank my committee or my faculty chair, Dr. Kennedy, for your knowledge, your support, your confidence in me, and your time. And last but not least, I'd like to thank my committee member, Dr. Barnes, for your creativity and your expertise in creating the best prompts possible for this workbook. I look up to each of you, and I hope that we can stay in touch throughout the future. I'd also like to thank my angels in heaven for staying in my heart and by my side throughout this project. Winning this award means so much to me. It means hope for sexual assault reform, increased conversations about what consent is. It means validation to me that this topic is important, and it means bigger dreams. It means my journey is just beginning. Thank you so much again to my support system, to Mr. and Mrs. Calvert, and also thank you to Susie, the librarian, who helped me to really tackle this topic, which initially seemed too big. Without all of you, none of this would be possible. Thank you again for everything.
Isabella, thank you for those remarks and for your super important work. Congratulations. Our next winner is Natalie Johns. She won in the Creative Works division. Her project is entitled Comics for Pediatric Oncology Patients and Families, Education and Empowerment. Like Isabella's project, Natalie's work also features two parts: a literature review on the therapeutic potential of comics for pediatric patients, and an actual comic book to help young patients suffering from cancer form an understanding of what cancer is and what they can expect in their treatment. Natalie's sponsor, Dr. Brian Blankfield, wrote something about Natalie's work that I would like to share. Natalie is a highly professional researcher who understands how to track down and synthesize materials from a wide array of sources. But she also knows that some of the most vital ingredients to a successful project are the interpersonal advice and counsel from others, whether they're advisors or librarians. Some scholars never truly appreciate the extent that research is a collaborative effort, nor do they establish vital professional relationships with library staff that may lead to stronger research projects. Natalie does, however. Our judges also appreciated the resourcefulness that Natalie showed in this project, noting that she displayed a graduate level of research skills as she considered scholarship from a wide range of academic fields. One judge said, quote, "This is one of the most clearly articulated projects I've seen in my years of judging for this award." Unfortunately, Natalie couldn't be with us today, but she has some people to thank, so I will read a statement that she has sent in. "I'm so grateful to receive this award, and I wish I could be there in person to celebrate with my fellow researchers who exemplify impactful projects. Thank you, Mr. Linker and Ms. Matola, for allowing me to share my remarks. I would like to express my sincere gratitude to Lance and Elena Calvert for making this award possible." What started as a story about a superhero named Wonder Boy teaching the reader about radiation therapy turned into a lion cub named Luke Lionheart, journeying through cancer treatment in a 5-book series. This project has continued to grow as I do, and is truly as strong as it is today because of incredible guidance and encouragement from UNLV faculty members, experts in the field, family, and friends. Given the interdisciplinary nature of this work, it required a lot of preparatory study. I took an independent study in graphic medicine with Dr. Brian Blankfield and created my first medical comic about a concussion under his guidance. I'm incredibly grateful for his engagement and encouragement in this work. In building my thesis committee, I needed medical expertise to ensure I was accurately representing medical concepts. Dr. Purvesh Kumar, my thesis chair, and I had numerous conversations on how the books should be separated and utilized in the clinic. He helped me break up the books by topic that would be addressed in specific patient encounters: diagnosis, chemotherapy, radiation therapy, surgery, and remission and recovery. We determined that a tool that has a cohesive narrative, yet can be delivered in an interchangeable order, would be vital to the project's success. Katie Hauk and Amanda Melilli were instrumental in exposing me to relevant guiding literature. The materials they provided served as a springboard for my literature review. I've told just about every student who talks about research to go bother the librarians at UNLV. This award, to me, is a testament to their excitement to work with librarians. I'm thrilled to continue my collaborative relationship with Katie at the UNLV School of Medicine this fall. One of the most important aspects of my project, however, is not the comic itself. It's the careful balance of word choice and highlighting the human experience of medicine that is sometimes a tertiary consideration in patient educational materials. Dr. Sheila Bach, my third committee member, helped me put the humanity in the project. Soon, I'll have the remaining 4 books of the series complete, and I'll move into assessing the effectiveness as an in-clinic education tool for patients and parents. I expect to see improved health literacy and decreased anxiety, along with an opportunity for providers to foster better relationships with their patients. It is my goal to eventually use this work when I become a practicing physician myself. I hope that you and your family do not ever have to encounter an oncologist. If you do, I hope that this series can become an entertaining, amicable, informational tool to aid in education. The series is written for children, but I truly believe it has relevance for all reading levels. Thank you so much for your time, and congratulations again to my fellow Calvert awardees on their accomplishments. Best regards, Natalie Johns. Thank you for those remarks, Natalie. Excellent, and congratulations on your super important work. Our next award winner is Natalie Martinez. Her project is one of the winners for our advanced undergraduate category. Her project is Spanish from the East Side of Las Vegas, simplification of past tense and aspect distinction in ser and estar in Spanish heritage speakers of Sunrise Manor. Natalie's faculty sponsor, Dr. Margarita Hara, notes that Natalie's project includes both extensive library research and surveys and interviews with people in the community. The result is a study that, quote, reveals the bilingualism effect and influence of the Spanish-speaking community on the speech of second-generation immigrants and the demographic significance of Sunrise Manor as the town with the highest Latinx population density in Southern Nevada. Our judges remarked that Natalie's research was conducted at a level that one would expect from graduate students. They also appreciated the resourcefulness that she showed in managing to conduct an interview study in the midst of a pandemic. One judge wrote, "This is an impressive research project, focusing on language in Southern Nevada among Spanish speakers in Vegas East Side adds to our understanding about linguistic practices, variability in language, tenses, and identity. The writing was clear and focused, and I appreciate how the author drew from both quantitative and qualitative data." This is an impressive example of students using very rigorous methods to investigate what's happening in our Las Vegas community. Now I'll ask Natalie to come up and share her remarks.
Hi everyone, y hola a todos, todas y todes. My name is Natalie Martinez, and it is a great honor to be here and receive this award. Before I begin, I would like to thank Lance and Elena Calvert, as well as the UNLV libraries for recognizing the research and efforts of myself and my peers, but also, moreover, the Eastside Latinx community. This is a community that I hold deeply within my own heart and has played a pivotal role in in the person I am today. Growing up in Las Vegas, my ears were more keen to the sounds of the Spanish dialects of Latin America than the sounds of slot machines or dice rolling on gambling tables. As a researcher with the Latinx Voices Oral History Project, I began to rediscover these varieties and the beauty that comes with the dialects that you hear from the stories that you collect regarding stories of immigration, of hardship, of workers in the culinary union, to even my own parents being interviewed. As I listened to these varieties, I wanted to study the differences between these generations from immigrants who first came here to first generation immigrants such as myself who were born here. We're what you call heritage speakers. That is, we learned how to speak Spanish at home and in our community. It wasn't very structured, but we've survived. I'm a clear evidence of that today. Those are my fellow Spanglish and Code Switcheros out there who switch between the two different languages whenever little do you know, I might be switching languages right now. So I wanted to recognize that nuance and celebrate that through my research. And in my sophomore year, I approached who would become my faculty advisor, Doctora Margarita Jara, and launched and initiated my own pilot sociolinguistic study on Spanish from the east side of Las Vegas. I would like to thank Doctora Margarita Jara for her guidance and patience with me, as I had no linguistic study or linguistic background or training, and she was able to guide me through this endeavor as I developed these new skills and worked alongside my fellow Latinx team here at the library and the Oral History Research Center, guiding me through the historical framework and finding the interviews that would best align with studying the east side of Las Vegas. My findings show how diverse our Latinx community is. It's anything but a monolith. Here in Las Vegas, we have communities that's sparse from the very northern border of Mexico to the very tip of Argentina, and we have our friends in the Caribbean as well. And all of that makes the East Side such a wondrous and linguistically diverse place to investigate. I wanted to celebrate these nuances and celebrate the way we speak, heritage speakers, how we switch between languages, how we may not fit the quote-unquote Spanish ideal. Too often in the classroom, we are discriminated for not having the right Spanish or speaking with the right grammar rules or fitting this so-called perfect framework of what the Spanish language is. Our language shows the history of our community. It shows how we interact and move between spaces, how our identities shift between whether we're in the classroom or we're at a carne asada with our familias in our backyards. Language is not static, and this project is evident of that. I would like to thank especially deeply my Eastsiders who took the time to sit down with me for an interview in the midst of the summer of a pandemic over Squadcast. You shared your stories, you were vulnerable and shared your language with me. And for that, I'm truly indebted to each of you. I'd also like to thank my familia, my family, my parents, and for all of their support through those long nights of interview transcription and thesis writing, for the cafecito en la nochecita, all of those little details you would give to support me. I truly am thankful. Un abrazo. To my thesis committee, which was including Doctora Margarita Jara, was Doctora Norma Maroon and Dr. Heather Lusty. The Oral History Research Center, Ms. Clay T. White and Ms. Barbara Tabak. You have been extremely supportive through this entire process, and I certainly wouldn't be here without you today. To librarians Priscilla Finley and Brittany Sterling, our meetings, whether it was looking at census records and trying to figure out what those were all about and finding out what the proper databases to explore, and different journals to explore. Those were meetings that truly impacted the way I developed my thesis and my research, so thank you. I'd also like to thank Special Collections and Archives. A great deal of those works were pivotal for my historical framework. And I'd also like to thank the Office of Undergraduate Research for helping fund my project through the Summer Undergraduate Research Grant last summer, which was actually what would allow me to connect with my Eastsiders through the subscription that allowed me to conduct the interviews I did. Thank you so much for this. It means a great deal to me and my community. Further, it motivates me to continue this type of research that celebrates marginalized communities, just as the Latinx Voices Oral History Project does. And I want to further continue on this journey of amplifying these voices and support my Latinx community. Muchísimas gracias a todos y les deseo unas buenas tardes. Thank you so, so much.
Natalie, thanks for those remarks and for your important work. Congratulations. Our final winner today is Michael Schwab, who is also receiving an award in the Advanced Undergraduate category. His project is a calibrated agent-based model for tracking SARS-CoV-2. Michael's faculty sponsor, Dr. Brian Bornholt, praised Michael's ambition in taking on a groundbreaking research question and his resourcefulness in finding solutions to research challenges that came up along the way. For example, as a test case, Michael's project considers COVID data from the Diamond Princess cruise ship collected by the Japanese Ministry of Health. That data is only available through a Japanese language website. So Michael used two online translation tools to make sure that he could understand the data. And that doesn't even begin to account for the other mathematical and research challenges as he explored the potential for agent-based modeling of the pandemic data. Dr. Barnholt notes that Michael's research moves the field forward by revealing the need for new methods for modeling such extreme pandemic-level data with an agent-based model. Our judges noted that Michael's research is very novel. One wrote, "I was impressed with Mr. Schwab's attention to historical detail and his open-minded approach to finding additional resources." Like Natalie's project, Michael's exploration of statistical models to understand the spread of COVID through Clark County is an outstanding example of students pursuing high-level research to enhance our understanding of what's happening in our own community. I'll now ask Michael to come up and share some remarks.
Well, I'm tasked with following up all these great speeches, so I'll give it my best shot. Hello, there has been an incredible focus on epidemiology within the last year and a half, which probably has something to do with this pandemic that we're experiencing, the most disruptive pandemic in recorded history. Although I'm not an epidemiologist, biologist, or any other ologist, I decided to throw my figurative hat in the ring. I asked myself, what room is there for an undergraduate mathematics major to contribute to epidemiology when the field is more saturated than ever? The answer is not much. However, that did not stop me when I began conducting research in Lagrangian inference, agent-based models, and their applications to COVID-19. I was first exposed to these ideas while studying at Emory University and the CDC for a summer. However, my experience remained minimal until a research internship where I worked with a prominent ecological statistician, Dr. Mevin Houghton. That summer was my first foray into epidemiology. Inference-like infection probabilities and transmission rates for this pandemic are reported at the population level. Since we are mostly concerned with the health and well-being of ourselves, our families, and our loved ones, we are truly interested in having individual-level personalized inference. I have 3 amazing grandparents, and I want to know how safe they are. Could I determine their infection probability with their spatial location, proximity to others, pre-existing health conditions, and even sanitary behavior? The answer is yes, but not using the models that we are currently using. The models that will enable us to obtain this personalized inference are Lagrangian models, such as an agent-based model. These models, which focus on personalized inference rather than the typical population-level inference, are relatively new to epidemiology. Last summer, Mevin and I exhibited case studies that motivate the use of such models. This was the inspiration for my honors thesis, where I obtained personalized inference for the outbreak aboard the Diamond Princess cruise ship that was quarantined early last year. The significance of this thesis is threefold. One, to provide a case study for the implementation of agent-based models in epidemiology. Two, to analyze the COVID pandemic focusing on personalized inference. And three, to showcase the potential of Lagrangian models for personalized medicine. Although my thesis is wrapped up, I plan to write a dissertation on the regularization of such inference while pursuing a doctoral degree in statistics at the University of Texas at Austin. My graduate experience will be funded by the National Science Foundation, as I was awarded an NSF Graduate Research Fellowship, in part due to the research that I've just delineated for you. My success is one that is shared among a community of beautiful souls. My parents were and are fundamental to my personal development, including my discipline and exposure to many scientific domains. My family and friends have provided invaluable support and have given me the space I needed to work on my research uninterrupted. My future doctoral advisor, Mevin, has taught me countless lessons within the span of just a year. My UNLV thesis committee, Dr. Kaushik Ghosh, Dr. Brian Bornholt, and Dr. Hak-Wan Cho, provided the autonomy that allowed me to explore my interests and develop my thesis however I wanted. Honors College Dean Andrew Hansen has enabled me to secure enough awards, fellowships, and funding that my parents are now requesting rent. He has also allowed me to really fulfill the role that I always dreamed of having as an academic. Sue Kim Chung and Rebecca Roscoe, two of the many amazing UNLV librarians, helped me find the resources I needed to construct this honors thesis that I am so proud of. My work could not have been accomplished without the invaluable resources here in the UNLV library system. I made heavy use of the disciplinary databases. The lead library access to every scientific journal I found was not only saving me a large amount of money, but an even larger amount of sanity. The librarians here are approachable, knowledgeable, and most importantly, invested in student success. I am astounded on how involved and available the librarians are to us. I will definitely miss this environment when I graduate. I would like to explicitly thank Lance and Elena Calvert for their generous donations to students like myself that want to make the world a better place, one paper at a time. This award not only reassures me that my academic career is on the right track, but it also reassures me that I do have a future in academia. You are listening to a man that is accomplishing his dreams right in front of your eyes. Someone who aspires to contribute to the academic literature in such a meaningful and impactful way that hopefully my work will affect communities both empowered and marginalized across the world. While it is my hope that this is not the last recognition that my research receives, this award does encourage me to continue my work in statistical methodology, and this award will surely leave a mark on my academic career. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael, for sharing your research with us. And congratulations on the award and all of your successes. Now I'd like to turn things over to Roseanne Matola for some closing remarks. She is the Interim Head of Educational Initiatives here at UNLV Libraries.
Thank you, Mark. As the Interim Head of Educational Initiatives, I have had the distinct pleasure this year of working with many of the students who applied for the Calvert Award. A lot of work and effort goes into each application, and although we are not able to recognize all of those projects, it has been a thrilling afternoon to hear this afternoon's winners and this year's awardees speak about their research. Each year, these students and their incredible academic efforts thrill and inspire me. For many of us within the university libraries, this event is our favorite event of the year. We all anxiously await for the Calvert Award ceremony every spring because it truly is an opportunity to celebrate student achievement and an opportunity to acknowledge that it takes all of us within the libraries to support and enhance undergraduate research. There are several people that I would like to thank who make this award program possible. First and foremost, we are here today celebrating and recognizing the work of these exemplary students, as well as their faculty mentors, because of the generosity and vision of Lance and Elena Calvert for endowing this award. Without their support, we would not be able to offer this award for students and would not be able to celebrate their research and achievements in this way. This year marks the 15th anniversary of the Calvert Award for Undergraduate Research. Since 2006, we have recognized the work of 62 student researchers, including those recognized this afternoon. As you heard from our winners today, these awards are truly meaningful to them, and they make a major significant difference in their plans. The Calvert family recognized that this year in particular was exceptionally challenging for students and their research, so they generously increased those prize monies and provided the additional funding to each winner. Our students have had to face new and different challenges than ever before in order to finish their research, and with their support and the support of the Calverts, we are proudly recognizing their achievements today. I would also really like to extend my thanks and appreciation to the library and university administration for their acknowledgement and recognition of the importance of undergraduate research at UNLV. It's a high impact practice that makes a notable difference to student learning, and we keep finding ways to do it better and better here. I would like to thank and recognize the outstanding teaching faculty, the instructors, and the graduate teaching assistants who work with students every day to integrate research-based learning into their courses. Students who apply for this award submit a letter of support from a faculty member, and Mark shared some of those remarks, which give our judges important context for how the student is asking and answering an important research question in the field. Their letter of support gives us an idea of the significance of their work. Faculty support is vital to this process. I would also like to acknowledge all of the frontline and behind-the-scene experts within the libraries that contribute to student learning. Your work makes this research possible. I'd particularly like to recognize my colleagues who are involved with the promotion and application process for this award: Carrie Ann Cahill, Mark Lenker, and Sean Kennedy. And finally, I would like to extend my gratitude and appreciation to our team of esteemed judges: Sharon Jaleen from Exercise Science, Dan Bubb and Heather Lusty from Honors, Constancio Arnaldo from Interdisciplinary Studies, Martha Phelps from Political Science, Maggie Bukowski, Laurel Lamb, Christina Miskey, and Greg Volker, all from the libraries. This year, there were many high-quality applications from departments all over campus. Our judges were very conscientious about the prestige of the award and the quality of the work submitted. It is never an easy decision. And while we were not able to gather today for our traditional awards ceremony, we are grateful to be together for this live stream that you were able to hear about their impressive work. We look forward to being back together next year for a formal Calvert Award ceremony. And I look forward to many future years where we may see some of these students come back to share their new accomplishments with us. Thank you very much for joining us for this year's Calvert Award ceremony. And we hope you have enjoyed hearing about all of the student research as much as we have. Thank you and good afternoon.